What's going on? Welcome to Hollywire's Power Players, where we count down the top 5 celebrities dominating the headlines. I'm your host, Alex Schiffman.
And I'm your host, Jake Horvitz. Let's get to the list.
Coming in at number 5 this week, we have Britney Spears. Fans of the Free Britney movement have continued to follow the ongoing legal battle regarding Britney Spears' attempts to end her more than decade-long conservatorship. This week came a major breakthrough as Britney was finally granted freedom to choose her own lawyer. Previously, because of all Britney's finances were controlled by her father, she was bound to his choices, but with the ability to hire her own lawyer, this very well could open the door for Britney to finally get the legal right to end the conservatorship. Our eyes and many others will be on the story as this plays out. I mean, this is a huge win for the Free Britney movement, Jake.
Absolutely. It's a major breakthrough. And Alex, I'm pretty sure you saw the video of Britney doing the cartwheels.
Oh, didn't I see that video? And the horseback riding.
The horseback riding and the cartwheels. And I'll tell you what, I was in my bedroom when I found out, and I started doing cartwheels all over the place. I couldn't get a horse, but if I could have, I would have been riding right there along with Britney.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time that we've actually heard Britney's voice heard, so to speak. I mean, she's definitely making her own choices now, something we haven't seen throughout this entire conservatorship. So I'm sure she feels just on cloud 9. You know what I mean? And I think she is ready to kind of continue this fight and win this battle with the support of her fans.
Absolutely. And it's strange to consider, really, when you look back over the years and you think about Britney and you realize how little control she always had. I think that she had that period where she was a bit of a mess. She married Kevin Federline. She shaved her head. Nobody really knew what was going on behind the scenes, but it didn't seem good. And then she sort of went into low-key mode for a long time. And now we're finally seeing, that low-key mode was really about her just not having control of her life. And hopefully this lawyer really opens the door for her. We know Britney is going to get the best lawyer she possibly can. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to continue to follow this story because, like I said, Britney can finally choose her own lawyer. I mean, she has someone fighting for her voice, and this is something that we just have been hoping for. Any sort of kind of acknowledgement from the judge in Britney's favor. So it makes me happy as a Britney fan to kind of see her in a better place, showing her celebrating on social media, and I think feeling hope and hopeful, that she can move forward and kind of get out of this decade-long conservatorship.
Absolutely. And when we look back at some of the court rulings that have already occurred, some of which, we found questionable, we have to acknowledge now that Britney didn't even have her own legal team. Even her legal team. So it's really a strange thing to consider that she was basically suing her dad, but her dad was still in charge of picking her legal team because she was still under the conservatorship.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many layers to this story and kind of the entire battle with the conservatorship. I mean, everyone was involved but Britney herself, and that's just heartbreaking. And we hope that we see this win continue. We see more wins for the Free Britney movement, and we can finally move forward.
And more cartwheels.
Yes.
I think our next power player is always doing cartwheels. And that's at number 4. We have Josh Richards.
Doing cartwheels or playing baseball this week. Did you see that?
I did. Yeah, I wish I was there too. Recently, Josh Richards reacted to a viral clip of Bryce Hall making out with a blonde girl at an LA club, which is assumed to be Riley Hubatka. Josh thinks it's definitely Riley, and she's denying it because, quote, that's clout. When they talked about how Bryce said Riley and Addison were both like sisters to him, Josh jokes, quote, does this guy have a weird sister fetish? As for Bryce, describing his relationship with Riley the same way he did with Addison and posting the same TikTok dances with both girls, well, Josh thinks that's on purpose, as he said, quote, oh, he's playing mind games. Josh said he doesn't know if Bryce and Riley's relationship is real because he, quote, hasn't hung out with either of them for a minute, so I don't know at all. I don't see it being a relationship. Josh commenting this directly on T is something he has mostly avoided in recent months, but that could be starting to change. Alex, what do you think about first of all, Bryce and Riley? It's a new relationship. It's sort of changing all of these dynamics, and it's interesting to hear Josh chime in on it.
Yeah, it is interesting and a big statement coming from Josh. Of course, Josh knows Bryce better than all of us, and him kind of saying, hey, I don't think it's real, is a big statement. But he also said that he hasn't seen them in a while, so he doesn't necessarily know what's going on. But we know Bryce, and Bryce is the king of pranks. He's the king of kind of playing with fans' minds, and he's having fun with this. So he's going to keep this going for as long as he can.
Absolutely, and I feel like Josh, he's been doing his own thing. We've talked about it before. He's been doing BFFs. He's been mostly in Miami, although Gabby Conti reports that he's moving back to LA these days.
He is, yeah.
So, he's been out of the loop a little bit, doing his own thing, and now he's kind of reintegrating into the TikTok influencer sphere, and that means being around Bryce, and Bryce, I think, can be a confusing guy, because he is a jokester, like you said, and him and Riley have been, is this happening? Is this not happening? Is this happening? Is this not happening? Bryce says it is. Riley says it isn't.
I mean, we don't know what's going on here, but it also could just be a new relationship where you don't actually know what's going on. You know what I mean? Those first stages where you don't have a label on it, you're trying to figure each other out. They are spending a lot of time together, so we can only assume that this is moving towards a relationship. But the funniest part about this is that sister comment. I mean, What is Bryce doing with this? I get he's trying to be funny and make some jokes, but let's get back to Josh, because that is who we're talking about, and kind of more what's going on with him and how he feels about this relationship, because he would know best.
Well, when Josh speaks about these things, which has been less and less frequent lately, he's going to say something that's memorable and hopefully that's funny, and he definitely landed that here, because does Bryce Hall have a weird sister fetish? He seems to like calling girls his sister and then start kissing them, which Josh, validly seems to poke fun at him for.
You also know why Josh is a power player, because he brought it back to the BFFs podcast. He said, you know what? I don't know if they're dating, but let's have Riley on the show. Like, he is the ultimate promoter. Whoever is doing the promotional stuff for BFFs is a genius, because every time they leave fans on this cliffhanger and they're like, well, let's just get him on the show and get the answers straight from the horse's mouth. And that's what Josh did. So we will have to stay tuned to see if Riley comes on and answers that question about her and Bryce.
Maybe us at Hollywire should be taking some pointers from Josh Richards, because that guy is a marketing genius.
He truly is. But someone else that is a genius, at least in the music industry, is our number 3 power player this week, Billie Eilish. It has been a busy and controversial week for Billie, as many are accusing the pop star of being in a flop era. In recent weeks, fans have accused Billie of queer baiting, uncovered allegedly racist and homophobic tweets from her current boyfriend, and later criticized her for posting a video of her dog humping her brother Phineas's leg. On top of it all, her new music has also been called lackluster by some fans. All this led Billie to post a TikTok that read, "Is it just me, or is Billie in her flop era? Like, why does she suck now?" Billie captioned the post saying, "Literally all I see on this app," referring to the increasing anti-Billie sentiment. So, Jake, what do you think's going on with Billie here?
I think she's in a tough space right now. She had her niche, she had her style, she was on top of the world, as we know. She won a bazillion Grammys at once. She was only like 17 years old. She had like the top 5 songs on the charts. All her music videos were popping off. And now she cooled down. She took a little break. COVID happened. And now she's trying to reinvent herself. And it's not going perfectly according to plan, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, this happens a lot with artists. They come out of the gate super hot. Billie, don't get me wrong, is a very, very talented artist. I don't necessarily think she's having a flop era. I mean, she's still being played on all the top playlists. Yes, is she going through some scandals? Is she having a tough time? A lot of controversial stuff happening to her. She's been having to come out and defend herself and speak her truth. So there is a lot going on, and maybe the music is kind of taking a back seat to this, but I don't think this is the end for Billie Eilish. I think we will see her again in the future, kind of at the top of the charts, and maybe it's time for other artists like Olivia Rodrigo and other people that are kind of coming in and really, killing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're really seeing that Billie was hot stuff for her period of time, and now she has to sort of settle into building a stable, consistent fan base of people who are super passionate about her music, as opposed to sort of just riding the wave of being the hot new thing. And these other artists like Olivia Rodrigo, I think she's probably the best example, is the hot new thing right now. All her songs were at the top of the charts, and one of the big reasons for it as well was TikTok. All her songs are super easy to use in TikToks. Billie's new song, for example, it didn't get a trend going on TikTok. And I think that's one of the reasons the streaming numbers have been not at Billie's usual level. And I also think people aren't totally into her new style, her new approach.
Yeah, not to put Billie against Olivia because we don't want to put women against women.
I want them to be best friends.
I think they are both super talented and deserve success. I will say that I do appreciate Billie's kind of self-deprecating response to it. I mean, that is the way you respond to something. She's like, this is all I see on TikTok. She's acknowledging that people are recognizing that, something's going on with Billie Eilish. But like I said, she's been a power player. I think she will continue to be a power player, and we'll see if she makes the list next week.
That's always been Billie's style as well. She's going to poke fun at the haters, and that's what makes her who she is. And that's why people love to hate her too, and people love to love her. And I agree, Alex. I think we'll continue to see her on this list, hopefully for some more positive reasons, hopefully a little less dog humping and a little less queer baiting and a little more great music. I think that's what everyone's hoping for.
Yes. Well, let's move on to our number 2 power player this week, Jake.
All right, let's do it. At number 2, it's last week's number 1, Addison Rae. Addison has stayed busy this week with a controversial video going viral in which she introduces herself to former U.S. President Donald Trump. At last week's UFC event featuring Conor McGregor, Addison approached the reality show host turned politician and said, quote, "I just have to introduce myself. I'm Addison." She shook Trump's hand and he said, "Very nice to meet you." This comes after rumors last year that Addison was, perhaps secretly, a Trump supporter. But the TikTok star wasn't done there. She also posted a cryptic tweet quoting Olivia Rodrigo's song Deja Vu, implying that ex-boyfriend Bryce Hall might be getting deja vu as he begins his rumored relationship with Riley Hubatka. Then, even more rumors swirled that Addison might be involved with MGK's guitarist Omar Fetty. So, 2 weeks in a row now, Addison has been popping off in the headlines. Everywhere she goes, people are talking about her. Everywhere she goes, people are paying attention to what she's doing. And on top of all this, she's still on top of her TikTok game. She did last week get passed as the number 2 TikToker. She's down to number 3. Kobby Lame is now number 2.
Wow, breaking news.
But the truth is that the passion that Addison inspires, keeps her really at number 1 for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. Of course, Addison kind of posting about deja vu refers to what we were talking about earlier with the sister comment from Bryce Hall. He used that joke on Addison when they were first kind of figuring out what their relationship was, and he's doing it again with Riley. It's just his thing. But back to Addison, Addison did, a lot of people are criticizing her for that, but we do have to say people can support whoever they want to support, whether you agree with it or not. He was the president of the United States. If she did want to shake his hand, she has that right. But I will say that she continues to overcome a lot of the controversy and criticism she receives. I think she's super talented. She's a triple threat. I mean, she can sing, she can dance, she can act. However you feel about Addison Rae, she continues to be a power player, and I think she's going to make the list every other week, if not every week.
Well, the other thing is I think that Addison knows how to be an influencer. She's one of the best influencers we've seen. And if you paid attention to her accounts at all over the last weekend, she was at the UFC event. She was popping off. She was trying on all these different outfits. She was posting left and right. And she said she was covering it. She didn't actually end up covering it, but she still was right up there. And you know what? Donald Trump was there, and she had an opportunity to meet him. Lots of people, even if you hate Donald Trump, would still take the opportunity to shake his hand, partially because he's just a big celebrity.
Yeah, and I think back to her relationship status, let's get into that. Do we think she's dating MGK's guitarist?
I don't think that she is, personally.
Drummer, not guitarist. But, he's in the band. He's part of the band.
When I thought that he was the guitarist, I would have said there's a good chance she's dating him. But the drummer, I don't see Addison going for a drummer. But no, I think that this is,
There's a lot of talented drummers out there that we could see with Addison Rae. I mean, her BFF, Kourtney Kardashian, could possibly be engaged, eloped with Travis Barker this weekend, so maybe she's following in those footsteps.
That's true, but I'll say this. MGK's drummer is no Travis Barker. There is no other Travis Barker. That guy's one of the greatest drummers in rock history. I think we all know that since the Blink days. Yeah, but I just think that this relationship, if it is materializing, is in its sort of infancy still. We haven't really seen them together that much. It's still mostly rumors. And I think Addison is smart to take it slow because I think for her and Bryce, there's still lingering feelings. And you see it with the subtweets. You see it with Bryce making the same TikTok dance with Riley that he made with Addison. And, calling Riley his sister after he called Addison like his sister and then kissed her.
When you have a very public relationship like Addison and Bryce had, it's never really over. I mean, we experienced this with, dare I say, Justin and Selena. Jelena shippers are forever here to stay, even though he is happy and moved on and married and in love, and so is Selena. So I think that Addison shippers are going to continue to kind of bring that conversation up. But it is interesting that Addison's being shipped with, musicians, because of course it was MGK's drummer. Now it was also Jack Harlow. Like, it seems like musicians or artists is where her type is.
All TikTok stars growing up, since they're kids, dream of being with musicians.
Yes, and she's also a musician herself, so they have that in common. Singing is her passion. She's been vocal about that and acting. So someone in the industry...
Dancing is her skill, though.
Oh, okay. We're getting a little shady on this Friday. I think she's great at it all, and she deserves success just like anyone else. There's enough
I think she's
success
great at
in
it
this
all,
world,
Alex.
Jake.
I think she's better at some things than others. We can agree to disagree here.
Yeah.
But I particularly like her dancing.
Yeah, I mean, she is a star. I mean, that's how we know her. That's where we discovered her. She took over TikTok because of her dancing. And like we said, she will continue to be on the list of our power players. But let's get into our number one power player of this week. It's Miss Olivia Rodrigo. Olivia stayed busy this week as she made an appearance at the White House to announce a partnership with the Biden administration to campaign to help improve the vaccination rates among young people. She met with the president and gave a press conference and promised to play her part in encouraging everyone to get a vaccine. But that wasn't the only juicy story surrounding Olivia, as photos of her kissing new boyfriend Adam Faze emerged. Finally, fully confirming their romantic involvement. Adam is 24, of course, and Olivia is 18, which has prompted some controversy, but thus far, the two seem to be a happy couple. So a lot of politics on this week's Power Players this week. But good for Olivia. She can use her platform to do good. I mean, that's what we hope that people that have those size platforms do with it, right?
Well, Alex, the times, they are a-changin'. And it makes sense for people like Olivia Rodrigo, who have a big platform, to partner with, with the government, really, and with President Biden to encourage people to get vaccinated. Because as we're seeing right now, a lot of people aren't getting vaccinated, and it's causing now the return of the mask mandate in Los Angeles, unfortunately. So hopefully, this is a good thing for Olivia. It could open the door down the road for more political stuff from her, which would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, she follows in the footsteps as other artists. Lady Gaga got really involved. Of course, Beyonce sang the national anthem. J-Lo sang the national anthem. I think Beyonce has as well. They get involved and they use their platform to do good and kind of, get their causes out there. And so this is just another example of that. She's 18 years old. I mean, think about yourself at 18 years old and going to the White House and having this large platform and encouraging the youth to get vaccinated. I mean, that's a lot of pressure.
And yeah, she's only 18, but she looks right at home in the White House. That's what I'll say. And
she looked super cute. I mean, she had the Jackie O vibes. I loved the fashion she was rocking. I mean,
absolutely,
she was cute.
She looks like it could be her house. That's all I'm saying. Maybe it should be her house. Olivia 2024, anybody? Maybe.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Olivia 2024. What an administration.
Oh.
Far from brutal.
I'll volunteer.
Would it be deja vu?
Would Joshua Bassett be the opponent?
Hey, oh, we're getting crazy right now. But as you know, those are our power players of the week. Make sure you join us next week to see who made the list. And follow us at Hollywire for all of your 24/7 celebrity news. I'm Alex Schiffman.
And I'm Jake Horvitz. We'll see you guys next time.